Yeehaw. Back to the basics with our business lessons coming to you from Pride Roofing and Construction. Wanted to talk a little bit about, it's a common conversation within really powerful organizations that have great culture and understand what they're doing. And it's very often forgot about with your run-of-the-mill organizations. Generally, it's seemingly, at least to me, it's correlated to your lifespan as an organization. So I wanted to talk about this. In business, you have to have an underlying why factor. Why do you do what you do? Why did you choose this particular industry? Why did you start a business? There's lots of layers to this conversation. So one of my favorite authors, and he's done TED Talks and podcasts and things like that, is a gentleman named Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Starts With Why. And this is a really famous TED Talk. If you haven't watched it, I'd highly encourage watching it. But he talks about how most organizations promote what they do. Sometimes they promote how they do it. But most organizations don't talk about their fundamental why and why they're in business and what makes them really different than the others at their core, right? Now it's pretty simple what I do. You know, we run an exterior roofing and construction company. We fix things that are already built on the exterior of the home or the exterior of a commercial building. That's boring, right? We've put out a lot of content in regards to just roofing and anatomy and insurance specialties and stuff like that. You know, we've shared some conversation about how we do it. I've given tools and tricks to, you know, be able to vet your contractors to see if they're worth their weight with the questions that you ask them, find out about their warranties, how they apply their systems, what materials they're using, stuff like that. But we haven't gone really in depth in our why. So I think I'll start by talking about our why and why I think that's important as an organization. And then you as a viewer, you know, you can take this information and apply it to whatever entrepreneurial idea you might have in your own life. So our why. When my ex-business partner and I got into this industry, we worked for a couple of those people that I referred to in my old videos. Those run-of-the-mill. And what we found over time was really greedy and less than ethical contractors. You know, we were just a sales team working for these guys, finding opportunities, coordinating jobs, stuff like that, but we didn't see the intricacies of their business. But what happened was the longer we spent with the organizations that we worked for, the more things we found out about how they were lacking and things that we didn't stand for. Whether that be, you know, transparent invoicing, whether that be just your standard greedy tricks that contractors will use, you know, stuff like that. We'd find these things out over time.
One eternity later.
And it never sat well with us, and we didn't sit long with each of these organizations when we'd find it out, right? So once we got far enough along and realized that there was a lot of people making poor mistakes, that was really the ticket, the why behind why we decided it was time to go into business for ourselves. It's like, if we're never gonna find anybody who's gonna do it the right way, or at least what we consider the right way, we're gonna go out and do it the right way. And not only that, it was part of our mission statement. It's part of what I continue to call our mission statement, is we wanna set the pace for the industry. We wanna change the industry. A lot of people who look at, you know, roofers or insurance restoration specialists, they look at them like they're vultures. They look at them like, you know, these sky diamonds fell out of the sky. They're in peril. There's broken stuff all over the place. And there's these greedy people that are coming to pick up the dollar bills off the ground. Now, we definitely work amidst these people, but we want to set a new standard. I'm a firm believer that there's, you know, you have to have, like we had a conversation about trash talk with, you know, between competitors. I feel that's a low style of business. I feel that's a bad way to do business. So we wanted to set the stage, do so good at what we do ethically and honestly and transparently and with value that everybody has to rise to our level. We wanted to become, part of our why is we want to become a well-known in your household, a name that you understand and you know who we are, and you know who we are not just based off our marketing, but based off of our heart and based off of our ethics and based off of the way that we treat our clients. You know, everybody makes mistakes, but it really tells you the character of a person by how they hold themselves accountable to those mistakes and how they fix things that they've broken. So that's the first fundamental why. Another part of why we wanted to do the business that we do now is, you know, roofing. You know, I'm going to go to roofing. I know this is the kind of a business lesson, I guess, but I want to go to roofing because it's applicable to my why. Why do I like exterior construction? Let's think about what we do for people, right? We are protecting people. You know, people are not living outside, and if they are, it's a really hard life that they live. People are living underneath of what we build. It's protecting them. It's protecting their assets. It's protecting their valuables, you know, their memories. It's where they create their lives. If we give them a good exoskeleton, I believe that we're doing our community a service. So part of our why is maintaining a service mindset in everything that we do. We realize what we're doing is valuable. Sometimes you don't want to do it and you just have to. You're in a pickle. That's why we put ourselves in that position so that we can apply all the experience we've given to make this an easy experience for you so you can move on with your life. And I take a lot of pride in that. So, you know, our one why is setting the standard for honest, ethical building. Another why is being proud and confident of what we do. What we do protects people. It helps them. It actually appreciates their asset. It makes it more valuable. It makes everything that they do more manageable, you know, in their common lives, right? And then there's more to the why. So I can go on this why conversation for a long time, but I wanted to hit 3. And the third one is, if we are so good at what we do and we set ourselves apart from, you know, our competition, and we become the staple on what people, you know, aspire to be like or are forced to be like, because that's how how we force, you know, the pathway for all of our competitors to be. We're going to have the ability to have abundance. We're going to be able to actually use the proceeds that we earn, you know, that we rightfully earn, and we're going to be able to apply that back into our communities. There's things that we've you know, inculcated into our day-to-day operation, right? Where every 100 roofs that we build one for a veteran, a frontline healthcare worker, or a first responder. And this is like clockwork. We hit 100, it's time to go do another roof. It's time to give back to our community. One of our most recent builds that we did, and this one really struck home for me, which is why I pushed it so hard, as we rebuilt a roof on you know, the youth facility for the church that I go to. You know, so my local community got a little bit more heart, I guess, than, you know, just every community did. But that one hit home for me specifically because my mother is somebody that I aspire to be like. Her heart is something that I aspire to and wish that I have. And if I can put that into the generations that, you know, that I produce from my own progeny, I'm doing something right. And she was a youth leader. And what I learned inside of like my youth experiences with my church when I was a kid was it was a safe space for people who might be misguided or you know, just not necessarily having a great life, and they provide food for them. Maybe they didn't have food at home, and we provide a good meal, you know, to fill their stomach, and then we give them the word to fill their heart. And so it gives us the ability to do something that I think would echo into the ages and creates a legacy. So our organization, everything that we do, every opportunity that we have, we want to introduce the why factor to separate ourselves from our competition. Without that, we're just going to die off like everybody else. There's a lot of, I don't know what the word, attrition associated with all business. You know, 99% of businesses fail within the first 10 years. In the construction industry, specifically a niche that we're in, it is really high attrition rates. And specifically because people don't know why they're doing what they're doing other than they just want to make a buck. Everybody wants to make a buck. Everybody goes out every day and they check in, you know, they clock in, they do their job that they're supposed to do, and they go home and they take that money and they apply it to their lives and their goals and the things that they do outside. Everybody wants to make money. That's not the why here. The why here is to be able to have a lasting impact, create a legacy, and set the standard for the industry. And if you're an entrepreneurial type of person, you should aspire for the stars, right? You should shoot for the stars and hope to land on the moon. Right? Everything that you do, do it with a why, do it with a purpose, do it with your heart, and you'll be successful. Businesses that only focus on the dollar will eventually meet their demise. Everybody needs to make a dollar. Businesses are built to be profitable. They're built to be long-term, but if that's the only thing you focus on, then you will minimize your opportunity to grow.